So yeah,
Your hair looks great, Julie.
it's
Seriously.
trying. The back is like, look, now I'm a mess. We're gonna try to give the illusion of not being a mess, but we're barely surviving these days.
Hey, everybody, this is Mary,
And this is Julie.
and you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. Happy 2023.
Happy 2023. 5 days in.
Yeah. And all this stuff is happening.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
I
telling
know.
you. I'm
I
telling
know.
you. It's already been, making its mark. I'll say it that way. So, but
Yep.
I'm trying to do these things now where I like that. Have you heard of binaural beats? Am I saying
Yeah.
binaural beats? Yeah. So I do that with and some of them have like subliminal messages in them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
I've been
yeah.
trying to do those because we were talking offline. I remember I said, I was like, wow, I go to sleep like with crime stuff on. Maybe I should stop that.
Right.
Mm. Maybe that's
Yeah,
why my
so
sleep
switch it
isn't so
up.
restful.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
and I've preached that to all kinds of people. Don't go to sleep with that kind of stuff on. And then here I am. Some trial is
But it's
running in
so
the background.
soothing.
It's so soothing to me. No. How has your New Year's been? Because I know for me, like, I didn't make resolutions. I don't know about you. Did you make resolutions?
I didn't make full on resolutions because they don't seem to work and I get really
Mm.
cranky with myself really fast. And I was taking like the advice we were doling out to others about like Mercury retrograde, like maybe try not to really do too much, but think about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been doing more thinking about it, like how do I want things to look? And I've printed out some goal worksheets and like
Ooh.
things like that. So I'm going to mess with that a little more, but I'm trying to let it simmer in my brain. I've also been like, you guys, I'm not good at money. So I've been trying to like, okay, let's actually like track what you're spending when, where.
Mhm.
And like, let's be a little more like structured about it as opposed to like, oh crap, I sure hope I have enough money in there for this.
Hold on, before I get to the cashier, let me check my bank
Right. And
app.
I don't
Done
like
it.
the stress and like just cortisol jump
Yeah.
that I get from that. So I'm
Yeah.
like, why don't we actually get that together? And I know I was talking to you at one point, I was like, it could be like my Chiron. Something is in that where it's like, you're not good at money. And
Yeah.
I know we don't like base our entire personality around our chart, but like I'm trying to
Mhm.
use my chart a little more like, okay, well, what is this saying about like areas to work on, things like that, just because it's
Right.
fun too, right? Like I'm
Totally.
trying to learn the astrologies and you're teaching
Yes.
me a lot. And
Well,
so,
you know what I like about it is you can see how things in your life are manifesting from some of the
mm-hmm,
things that are in your chart. So,
mm-hmm,
if you have stuff going on in the second house in Taurus, that's where, a lot of the money is. Jupiter. Is that a problem? You can take a look at these different things and say, all right, so now this is how it's playing out in
right,
this situation. And it
right.
shows a connection. So you can make some different choices. So I think knowing your chart is good because then you say, okay,
Yeah.
well, I kind of gravitate towards this. I can do something a little different next time.
Yeah, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to look at it that way, like, and I know I'm like looking down. It's because I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, it's like my
Okay.
Chiron is in Taurus,
Yeah. So
the
that's
12th
where.
house.
Okay, so let's just talk
So
about
I
this.
have
So
karmic
wounded,
money shit.
yeah, wounded healer, Chiron,
Mm-hmm.
Taurus, money, 12th house karma.
Mm-hmm.
But if you knock that out of the way, if you get that in a place where you feel really comfortable, then that
Yeah.
is like your biggest like wound healed, and then phew, you're unstoppable.
So let's do it.
Yeah,
Right. And I
yeah,
think part of me this year is like, so let's do it. Let's like quit being afraid of it.
same.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can tell you where that comes from for me. So my Chiron, the wounded healer, is in
Mm-hmm.
Aries, which is all about who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how you take action and move forward. And it's in
Mm-hmm.
my first house. So my first house is all about me, who I am, how I represent myself, what I do,
Yeah.
my reputation, all that. I mean, 10th house is too, but the first house is like who I am.
Right.
So I need healing around how I see myself as someone who's a leader in charge, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we talked about this before, imposter syndrome. Like that was a lot of
Oof. Yes.
what, and then I sat down and started thinking about things. This is some of the stuff I started doing end of last year, now beginning of this year, 5 days
Mm-hmm.
in, but saying like, well, why shouldn't I do XYZ? Because I have XYZ training, like,
Yeah.
or like, so if I'll just, so say like, oh, I should teach tarot because I've taught it before, and I've been doing tarot professionally for over 20 years. So why wouldn't I,
Right.
teach it? But there's something in my head that's like, well, no, I just, I don't know if I should,
I think we
meanwhile,
share a lot of that at times. Like, there's a lot of imposter syndrome and a lot of just like, I don't know, should I? And then people are like,
yeah.
you know a lot about these things, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, right? Like, I
Yeah.
know a lot about like organization and time management and all of
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
know a
You
lot about
do.
like Reiki. I know a lot about like a few different things. And people are like, you should share stuff about that. And I'm like, ooh, I don't have a piece of
Uh,
paper from somewhere that says that I should share things about that. And even if
mm.
I do sometimes, it's like, so
Yeah. Maybe.
maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
So,
I started I think a lot of it too comes from I don't know why I started recognizing this piece too, but like when I write something to someone, I stopped saying I think it's this. Like I took out the I think. I just now I'm like, no, it's this.
that's
Because
great, dude.
that I think quote I sort of downplays your knowledge,
Oh,
at
yeah,
least in my head.
totally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I stopped saying I think whatever it is. I just here's what it is.
Dude, that's a great tip too. And that's at the same
Yeah.
time, you're like reframing your self-talk in multiple ways.
I don't know if people think that's BS. There's times I do. I'm like, but now I'm saying to myself, I think what you put out there, the mind follows.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So one of the things I'll tell you guys another tip that I do, and I I'm not gonna see now I'm starting to downplay. See what I'm doing?
But
I'm
you're
starting to
amazing
like
and this is Hype Club. So
right.
you tell us
So
your shit, Mary.
right,
You know what's up.
yes, right.
Give it to us.
Hi club.
That's right.
Um, I started walking around saying several times a day, the universe is working in my favor.
Ooh, yeah.
And I just put it out there. I'm like, all right, this is gonna go fine because the universe is working in my favor. And I did that around a trip I recently took
Mhm.
where there was like a weather thing happening and and I kept saying, all right, whatever happens is the universe is working in my favor. And I did get delayed and I
Mhm.
did have to so I had a connecting flight. I missed the connecting flight, so I got stuck in the first city. But I was like, all right, universe is working in my favor. This is going to be fine. Not only did the hotel I was originally supposed to go to
Yeah.
pay me, like refund me in full. There was no cancellation fee because of the missed flight. I got a hotel in the city that I got stuck in for free because it was a airline issue.
See?
So,
Yeah.
like, was it perfect? Was it the way I wanted it to happen? No, but was it working in my favor?
Was it
Yeah.
a net positive for you?
Mhm.
Yes. And
Yeah.
even if yeah, I think that's a good point too that like what we think is the way it should go isn't necessarily how it should.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I have to remember that for myself because
All the
I'm all
time.
like, but I had it set up to go this way.
Right. Right. And we
So,
still got there. It just happened differently.
right.
So, yeah, that's a big one for I'm starting to do that. Even I gritted it through my teeth the other day. I was like, the universe is working in my
I
favor.
like that though, dude. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start doing that too.
Yeah. Yeah, just randomly, I think of it, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, universe is working in my favor because I just wanna be like I said, you put that out positive, you follow the positive. You follow it through. That's what I'm noticing, a
No,
few
I think
days
that's
in.
great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think it would also help on days like today when I'm like everything is crazy. I feel like I can't get ahead. I feel like I'm always behind.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
got like a killer headache. I've got all this other stuff and
Mhm.
I'm like, well, we're just doing what we can. It's
Doing what we
stress.
can.
It's just
Yeah.
tension and stress. I like hold all my tension in my shoulders
Mhm.
up
Same.
and so
Yeah.
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 So I can tell that I've like been pretty stressed out because like it's harder
Mm.
for me to like turn my head some days and
Oh.
but I got
Mm.
one of those crazy neck stretcher things that look like a
Ooh.
scam, but I really like it. So I'll do that later. I don't know if it's actually fixing the little they're like, "Are do you get a hump from looking at your phone in your back?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I don't want a hump in my back. Use this $30 neck stretcher thing." Okay.
All right. Send it right away.
I do like it though. And I like it when like I get a headache and I just kind of lay on that bee and put like a cold
Oh,
pack on my head and I'm like,
look at that
maybe I'll do
self-care.
that later
Mhm.
to
Look at
get all
that
this
self-care.
done. I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying. We're
That's
trying.
yeah. But I think that's important. I really do think it's important.
Yeah.
Also this year I'm not so this isn't really resolutions. I'm not a
Yeah, yeah.
resolution person. I just try to do things a little differently when I think of it.
Yeah.
So but I'm trying to sleep get enough sleep at night because my whole thing
Nice.
is so I'm trying to do the schedule of like going to bed around like between 10 and 11, getting up between 7 and 8. Like that's the goal right now. So I've gotten that a couple of days. A couple of days I haven't. But I'll take the
Yay.
2. Yeah, I'll take the 2. But that's another thing. I think those are things of self-care that we don't think are really self-care.
Right. They're just like the doldrums and
Mhm.
boring things of like living your life. But
Yeah. But
yeah, like now
mhm.
I'm like, okay, I should sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, I should,
Mhm.
drink more water.
Mm.
Go for it. And
Yeah.
I've done a lot of that, that how it's turned into a meme, but I've done a lot of taking a stupid walk for my stupid mental health. Like these days, we're like, everybody, let's go for a walk. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Even if it's short, like it helps. It's just like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm not at my desk.
Yeah.
I'm outside.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I make the kids go outside and play. I should probably make myself go outside and
That's
take a walk.
cool. Yeah. Oh my god, see, there's reasons why there was recess back in the day. We don't
Yeah,
get to
right.
do that. Yeah, and I noticed it's funny over the years when I was in corporate, like I remember going to have lunch with somebody. We take the hour,
Mhm.
we go to have lunch somewhere, even if it was just in the cafeteria. And as I got towards the end of my corporate life, which was like 2008 to 2012ish,
Yeah.
um, you didn't take lunch. Like lunch started to go away. You know, I
Yeah.
just
You're
you
just
could see
supposed
the
to power
transition.
through it.
Yeah, you could see the
Mhm.
transition, and I always think it was important if you got some time to get away from your desk, even if you're in the cafeteria,
Yeah.
or outside. I just think it's so important, but these are things that we're so bogged down that
Yeah.
we feel like we can't take that time. I think it's better when you do take a moment to step away from stuff.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I agree. And I know that like I used to be really actually I was really good at taking lunch and stuff until I worked at the hospital. And then
Mm,
I was like, no, I've got too much to do. Like I have to just keep going, keep going, keep going,
yeah.
keep going, keep going. And then I got really bad at it. So I've been trying to, and now that I work at home, I have to be careful not to be like, oh, I'll just bring my food and sit here at my desk and
Mhm.
keep working. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I have to, that's something I should work on a little more, like actually taking the time to go eat lunch in the other room instead of just like sitting at my station
Yeah.
where I'm hunkered in all day.
Right, because 'cause you're like you're sucking it down at that point. Like
Mhm.
I remember, oh god, I used to eat lunch at my desk all the time in corporate.
Mhm.
I just yeah, I got
Yeah.
too much to do. That's the
Yeah.
thing, I got too much to do,
And it's
you
like,
know?
do we really? I
Yeah,
mean, it feels like it some days, and sometimes you have to like meet quotas and stuff like that.
sure, sure.
But also, how important is it really?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I know that's sounds flippant and easy to say. We have a family member who's like incredibly sick. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of shifting the focus a little bit. But
Yeah,
also, like,
yeah,
but also I mean, same point though. The other night, I was like, oh my, I was like tired and like we're getting ready to go upstairs, like get the kids ready for bed. And I
yeah.
was like, I've got so much stuff to do downstairs. And Tracy was like, do you really? And I was like, actually, I do. Because if I don't,
Mhm.
then it's going to be a mess in the morning. And that's going to mess with my mental health more a little bit. Like, and then I need
Yeah,
to go to bed early. I need to brush my teeth before I go to bed and wash
right.
my face, as opposed to just laying there being like, whatever, off crusty mascara in the morning. It's grunge. Like, who cares? But like the Gen X in me who's just like, that's
Oh,
how you're
yeah.
supposed to look when
You
you
wake
wake
up and
up.
it's smeared, yeah.
And just like, yeah, that's badass.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna tell myself now when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to wash off my makeup." Yeah, and it's all,
living those
Courtney Love,
living those grunge
crazy.
roots. Yes.
Yes, yes, God. I never thought I'd get to the point where I said sometimes there's times I'm like, "Is that music?" Like, I remember when I was a kid with my father used to listen to the oldies station. The oldies was the 40s and 50s music.
Mhm.
And, when I was a kid, I was like, "Can we please listen to, like, the rock station?" He'd be like, "No, this is my music." I'm like, "This isn't music." You
He's
know?
like, "We're listening to the Andrews Sisters, and that's all there is to it."
That's it. That's it. It's seriously, and then now I'm like, "What is what is
What is
that?"
this music you're listening to?
Right, and then I'm like, "How old am I? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me?" Very bad. It's very bad. Yeah, no, there's things I can't tell you who sings, I
Oh,
know
I'll
the
start
song.
sending you stuff.
Yeah, it's like I know the song, but I don't know the artist that goes with it, or I know the artist, I'm like, "Oh, they sing that? Oh, okay." I
Look,
had
I
that hap
say that like I'm sorry, interrupt. I'm like I
No,
say
no.
that like I'm cool with everything, but like I've kept up with like hip hop and stuff like that because of
Mhm.
like dance, right?
Yeah.
But I get into some of this like new alternative, which I just think is you're not OG alternative, whatever. But there's some new stuff and like that I'm just like, oh, what is this? Like, I'm going back to my 90s and early 2000s rock stations,
Yeah.
since that means I'm old now. But,
Mhm.
and I think about it driving in the car, like listening to Tool, and I'm like, this is awesome. And I'm like, what do my kids think of this? Like,
Right.
are they like, mom is listening to this old ass music?
Well,
And
but
I'm like, this is amazing
it
music. What is wrong
it
with you?
is. Yeah. Let me tell you, what was great was Emily, who I've talked about, my 17-year-old niece. We had a date. We used to do these like ladies' days together. I'd pick her up.
Oh,
She'd get out of school at like
yeah.
11:30, and I'd take her out for the day in the evening. So it was a ladies' day. And she hooked into my Bluetooth in my car and she was playing her music. And I was listening to some song and I said, "Oh, they had a guitar riff from I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, right? So the song starts playing. I go, "Are you listening to Kiss?" And she goes, "No." And I go, "Well, what is that?" So we started listening. I'm like, "Oh," I go, "That sounds just like an old Kiss song." She's like, "Well, what is it?" So I tell her. So she listens to it. She looks it up and she listens to the song. She stops, and, after it, she goes,
Hmm.
I love this. Like, what else do they have? So I start giving her songs like I Want to Rock and Roll All
Yes.
Night, all this stuff. And she's like, "Listen." So then she's like, "Well, what other bands are that time?" So I'm like, "Well, David Bowie." And she puts on David
Oh,
Bowie and
yeah.
she's, so I get this call from Anthony one day. Like, and also I got a tear in my eye because I was like, she
I
likes some of
know,
the
it's
old stuff.
awesome. I
Like,
know. It's a
oh,
good
Queen.
feeling.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Queen. She was into Queen, like all the old rock stuff. So I get this call from Anthony. He's like, "Can I ask what happened here with her music?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I don't know. Like, we used to listen to country music together." He goes, "And now," I go, I got her into the good stuff like
Yeah, right,
Journey
like,
and,
"I'm cooler than you
yeah."
are."
He was like, "This is terrible. Why do I have to listen to this stuff?" I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you, but you do." So yeah, now I took her to the Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, Joan Jett concert. She knew the songs
Yes.
from all of them. Like, it was just great. I was like, I got a tear in my eye. I was like,
It's
It's
amazing.
amazing." And then I also said to her, "Please don't lift up your shirt when Tommy Lee asked you to lift up your
Look,
shirt.
seriously, don't do that. Don't.
No, don't." She's like, "I would never." I go, "I just wanted to make sure
Just checking.
because I think
Also,
I would be traumatized by that." Um, because you're my niece, and there's a lot of reasons, like, I would try to cover you, there's a
right.
lot of things here.
I've
So,
also
she's like,
seen many a girl fall
"Oh,
trapped to the peer pressure of lift your shirt up at
lift your
many a concert or
concert."
festival.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny. It was, a lot of things about music, I think we can share throughout the generations. We
Mhm.
can. So I was so glad she got into that. But yeah, sometimes I'm talking to people and I'll say, "Oh, it's like that song from Aerosmith. Do you know who Aerosmith is?" And like a 22-year-old
Who?
will say to me, "No." And I'm like,
What am I?
"Ugh."
I know, that's a rough feeling.
You know?
I've had that a
Or
few times.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Or the other one was, this one was, someone was working for me and Bon Jovi came out with a song called "It's My Life."
Mhm,
And
yeah.
one of the lines is, like Frankie said, "I did it my way," right? So
Mhm.
Frank
Right.
Sinatra. So I said it to somebody and they were like, "Well, who's Frankie?" Okay, I gotta step away for a minute and then
So
I'll
it's
I'll
that
get back
right.
to you.
I have to walk away. It's like, okay, so now we are going to have a music education class for
Right,
you.
right, that's
So
it.
let's
So
start here.
here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I
No,
was,
we try to do a
oh,
lot of that around here too. Like
mhm,
we actually listen now, 40s music came back around fairly recently because
mm,
of the Fallout video games, like when
yeah.
Fallout 3 came out, and we love those games. So we play the 40s Junction station at dinner time. So
Ooh.
like the kids know some of that. They're also like, what? And then we're like, we're just used to like shooting raiders like to this music. It's fine. And then but Tracy also like ends up playing crazy songs for them that I'm not if I'm not around, and I'll come back and then suddenly like I have a 6-year-old running around being like, I'm just a gigolo. Mm, 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 mm. And often he'll just bust out be like, I ain't got nobody. And I'm like, I'm gonna be like sad and lonely. And so we've got stuff like that happening around here. And it's pretty funny though. So we've got a lot of that, but we have a lot of different ranges. What's that Teen Spirit song? Play that again. I'm like, okay.
Nirvana,
Yeah. So
yes.
he'll
I
listen to
love it.
that and like, he's like, what's that Machine band? I'm like, Rage Against the Machine. Yeah.
Yeah. But also music is a mood, right? Like
Well,
I
yeah.
know there's certain exes in my life that we had songs. And so
Uh,
when I hear those every once in a while and I'm like, Oh, it's really weird. It's really, really weird to be in a department store and hear your first wedding song come over the speakers. It's
Bro.
I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that sounds like an experience.
mhm.
You're like,
Yeah. Oh my God.
this is
My
not a
first,
sign. Like I heard
yeah,
somebody
this
say
is,
the other day, like the algorithm is not a sign.
no, it's
It is not trying to tell you something.
no,
Like the
no,
department store radio station is not
yeah,
telling you things. I'm
no,
sorry you went through that. That
yeah.
sounds awful.
My first wedding song was Fields of Gold by Sting,
Oh, which is a great
which is a
song.
great song.
I'm
And
gonna
then,
say he ruined that, not you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I was
know
like,
him.
oh, no, he did. But that's so, but I think about those. Oh, Julie, I made Julie spit out her drink, guys. I'm
That was
sorry,
almost
Julie.
bad. Continue what you were saying. I've saved the equipment.
Yes. Sorry, I wasn't even giggling. I just, but I think about some of those songs, like when I was talk about, back in the day where you could not do now. So my first boyfriend, our song was 17 by Winger. She's
Yes.
only 17,
Yes.
she'll show you love like you've never seen. I'm
It's
like,
like, oh
oh
my
my
God, this
God,
song, you
that was our
guys.
song.
Right.
So
But were you both like 17?
we were
That's
both, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we were both 17. He was my first
But
guy. And
also
then
from an adult perspective, I understand that you're like, yikes.
I was like, oh, there's songs on it's Winger. Like, so that gives you an
Yeah.
idea of what generation I was born in. And even like just songs, like my dad and I used to go to Red Sox games. So when I hear the songs from the Red Sox, that just kind of brings a
Yeah.
mood up. If I need something to pick me up, I'll put on songs that I really like, because I
Yeah,
think that helps a
totally.
lot. Like an energy lifter, free energy lifter. Just put on some
Hmm.
good music. And
Yes.
yeah, avoid the songs that maybe from your past reminding you of those weird relationships, because I have a few of those. Yeah, and I was dumb because my second husband and I had a Bon Jovi song for our wedding song.
He's not allowed to ruin Bon Jovi for
No,
us.
he is not. He will not.
He
Yeah,
will
thank you
not.
for loving me.
Yeah.
That was our wedding song. Yeah. So now I'm like, I still love John. He's not ruining this
No,
at all.
no.
No.
Winger can
Mm.
fuck off. But like,
Right. Winger can just fuck off. Yeah. 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 That's yeah, sometimes it's weird. I those things that connect you to those memories or
oh,
those
yeah.
people, it's funny
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah, especially when I go in an elevator and stuff's on. I'm like, why is this? Yeah,
Look,
it's
I knew that I was hitting a new like band in like the how old are you when I'm like rocking out in the grocery store. I'm like, yes, this is my shit. And I'm like, wait, this means we're old now. This is what we listened to in like middle school and high school.
yep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are
Or
we
when
playing waterfalls? Is this TLC in,
hey,
the
listen,
Aldi or the Kroger, wherever the hell I was? Like,
listen, Scrubs has stood the test of time, I
look,
think.
and that is a song that I'm like, we are like embedding in my children's minds. We're listening to Scrubs, and they're like, what does that mean? It means don't be a shitty boyfriend.
Right. Yes.
Don't be a
Yes.
loser. Like, don't, she doesn't actually date him
Right.
because he sucks.
Right.
And they're just like, okay.
Because he's hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride,
Trying
try
to
to holler
holler
at
at me.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't want no Scrubs.
We're
Seriously
like, if
though.
you listen, they will detail everything a woman does not want in a partner.
They will.
It's
It's
also known
true.
as a busto. Like, come on, we're going to educate you on slang. We're going to teach you how to be a good person.
Right. Right. Oh my God. I'm just thinking of the song now. And the video was great.
It's so
You know what I
good.
mean?
Oh my God, Mary. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if we'll keep this.
Okay.
How, like, kind of sheltered I was, or at least maybe like naive. I don't know that I was sheltered as
Mhm.
much as I was like pretty naive about things. Yeah, I didn't know that was a condom in her glasses until I was like 26.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I make fun of myself for it. And like a bunch of my friends are still like, those songs that like we used to hang out dance to, like, have you listened to them again? And I'm like, that song is dirty. And they're like, yes, and we knew, and you had no idea. And And I'm like, oh, what?
Now I know.
I thought that I was cooler than that. Apparently I wasn't. You were all making fun of me.
Right. Love you guys.
Yeah, but I
Question mark.
recently realized, I was like, yeah, I didn't realize that was a condom until I was like in my mid to late 20s. Not that I didn't know what a condom looked like,
Right.
especially as like an RA as well, who's like, I'm like handing them out to everyone,
Yeah.
like, please don't get pregnant while you live in
Yeah.
our dorm. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Please. We're not delivering. That is not part of my job description to deliver your
No, like
baby.
I have a whole, come on. But like, yeah, I was like, this is telling. An embarrassing fact about Julie.
That's right. It's the human facts. That's the thing. We all, we're not perfect. We are not
No,
perfect. And I'm
no.
tired of beating myself up for that, trying to be perfect. I said
Girl,
that.
yeah.
I actually, so I will tell I'm in therapy and I'm not ashamed to say that,
Therapy's
but
the jam.
it's the jam. And I said to my therapist, what happens sometimes is, I get caught up in perfectionist stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to, I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep not doing things because I want it to be perfect right out of the gate. That's not how
Right.
it works. And she said to me, I want you to do things poorly, Mary.
I love her.
She's like, I want you to just do things as poorly as it needs to
Just
be right now. Just do things. And I was like, okay, well, okay,
let's go. Yeah, but it's
So,
hard to like think that
mhm,
way.
yeah, it's permission to do things poorly. Yes,
It's
I will.
hell yes. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to look up and try to find it. I saw a thing where Brene Brown was basically talking about the
Mm,
same thing.
yeah.
Good old Brene Brown.
Yeah.
I'll have to find that because
Love
now I
her.
can't tell you guys anything helpful from it because I can't remember it at all.
But her stuff is great. It's so easy
Oh
to read
yeah.
too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
She's
like her
awesome.
a lot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What else are you reading? Are you reading anything else recently?
Right. What am I reading right now? What right now I'm reading like different witchy stuff. Like I'm
Mm.
always kind of skimming through different witchy books, doing a little more with like activism and
Mm.
witchcraft kind of stuff, trying to figure out what I can do with that. Also, always like house witchy stuff.
Mm.
I have downloaded, as we know I do, I have bought and downloaded many a Kindle book and read an audiobook and not really read many of them. I think the last one I remember fully completing was like that Jeanette McCurdy, like
Oh, yep.
I'm glad my mom died book, which
Yeah.
was chef's kiss amazing. But like
Yeah.
I don't remember. And I feel like I need to read more, but I'm also trying to be chill about it. I
Yeah.
listen to a lot of news.
Mm.
I listen to about 2 hours. Oh, if I think about it, I'm usually doing other things, but I listen to about 2 hours of news a day. And
Mm.
then I should
Yeah.
read more.
No, it's
I
not.
should
No, no,
read
no, no.
more.
I just was no. I was asking because I
No,
was just
no.
curious because I go through these spurts where I can read. Like I'll say, all right, I'm going to read a half an hour a night, and I'll be going through these spurts where
Oh,
I'm doing that,
nice.
and then I drop off,
See, same.
and then
Yeah.
something comes back up again. So the last book I was reading was this book about lists, and making
Yeah.
and basically the book was like you can make lists for everything and anything, and I kind of liked that idea.
I love everything about that.
Right?
I love a good list.
It's I I know when I make lists, I do better, but then I forget that I do better when I do it, and then I forget to do the list, and it's
So this reminded me,
yeah.
but I saw someone talking about that when you're setting, they're talking intention, like New
Yeah.
Year's resolution kind of stuff. But
Mm.
I thought it was a good point that it was like, you need a contingency for like, this is what I do on days I'm feeling good to achieve this goal. This is what I
Mhm.
do on days I'm not feeling well.
Ooh.
Right? Like, right. And I don't usually
Oh.
think of it that way. It's like, well, I'm supposed to work out this much, or I'm supposed to do this, or I'm supposed to do that. And they're like, well, if you're having a good energy day, sure, do your 20 minutes or your 30 minutes or whatever
Yeah.
you like to do. Go to your dance class, do whatever. I'm not having a good day. Okay. Well, maybe you're having a low energy day. Well, do you
Mm.
just take a walk around your block? Like, do you, or
Yeah.
like, I feel like shit. Your plan on days that you feel like shit is not to work out. That's not a reasonable goal. But if you just
Yeah.
sit there thinking like, "Oh man, I missed today," and it's like, "Bro, you had the flu." Like you need to give yourself
Right. Right.
some like grace and some space. And I thought that was
Mm.
pretty great. And I was also like, I do get into all or nothing thinking a lot, don't
Oh,
I?
girl. So true. So true.
Yeah. But I like the idea of like if you're goal setting, like what are your like levels of like however you can conceptualize it, but like
Mhm.
high energy or space, right? Mid
Mhm.
and low,
Yeah.
right? Like and what's do you feel like you're still on track if you're doing that?
Mm-hmm. I
So I thought
love
that was
that.
cool.
Yeah. Because it's like I have a plan. I have a plan for if I'm having a low energy day. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's
I
awesome.
was like, oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Took me
TikTok.
43 years for that, but
Yeah.
thank you,
Thank you.
lady on
Yeah.
TikTok, who I don't remember who you are, but I know you had like thousands of views and keep telling everybody.
Right. You have
Yeah.
impacted my life, lady from TikTok. Thank
I
you.
know. I love you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's true. I call myself a free spirit, but I know that I need some organization around this free spirit thing so I can still do my free spirit thing and
Yeah.
not forget it. I don't want to be one of those real scattered brained people.
Right.
I just, that I don't think works. It just doesn't.
Well, and I think it's kind of knowing what works for you too, right? Like you
Hmm.
know that you need to be able to do both of those. I think we're both a little bit like that. I
Hmm.
know
Yeah.
that like for me, I have to have like some structure to my day and like a certain level of like organized things around me, or I
Yeah.
can feel it just getting to be too much. But I also know that like I have to have time to be like, whatever, bitches, I'm going to get an emotional support coffee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That because if I get too rigid, then I just won't. I end up
Mm-mm.
in trying to take care of myself with a schedule or whatever, end up not taking care of myself.
Yeah. All those suggestions are great. I think we have to work with them in a way that's going to work for us.
Yes.
Because not everybody's the same. And that's the problem with some of the stuff. They're like, here's all these suggestions. And you're like, but these don't work. All right, I'll try them because they say it would work. And then it doesn't work because you're not a 5 a.m. person. Like get up at 5 a.m. everyone.
Girl, and I tried to make myself a 5 a.m. person and it was miserable for
Yeah.
me. And like one of my really good friends, she is a 5 a.m.
Mm.
person and she kicks
Mhm.
ass at it. And
Yeah.
she's my best friend from college. And she was just like, yeah, you just got to do it, dude. And I'm like, I know, I just got to do it. And then I was like, after a while, I was like, I cannot do this.
No.
And it's not like oh, this is bullshit. It's like I had to get up that early for work for a period of time.
Yeah.
Like I even had structure around like being up that early and how it worked. And my body
Yeah.
was like, no, girl.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah. Better. Yep.
six is better.
Yeah.
So
So you just adjust. That's the thing I think we get lost on is, oh, well, I have to do these things exactly how someone says it. No, make it work for you.
yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're living it. And
Yeah.
that's like the cold shower theory, for getting up in the morning, the cold shower theory. I can't. I've tried. I can't. I can't. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll just stay here for 2 minutes. And I'm like, by the time it's over, I'm like, no.
No. I know I've done that too. I
Yeah.
think we both probably tried many things. But like, yeah, I've tried
Yeah.
that. I've tried
Hmm.
it, just whatever, anything. And I understand for me that like I have to have at least 30 minutes after I wake up to not have to do anything,
Yeah.
or I'm going
Same.
to set myself up to just be miserable and
Mhm.
disappointed in myself all day.
Yeah. That doesn't work, right? That's not the thing you
No,
want to be doing. No.
no, no.
We get enough reasons to feel beat up all day. We're going to start the morning that way? No. No.
Yeah.
No. It's all the should. Here, we should do this. We should. No, just do what's going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because have you read the Four Agreements?
Oh, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Him saying always do your best, but just remember that your best is different every day. I think that's the
Yes.
thing that like really sat with me from that book was, my best this day when I have this energy is great. My best tomorrow is, not my usual, but I'm not feeling good. So blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
Just going to be a
It's,
different level.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we don't give the space for that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to do that.
Do it, y'all.
Right.
Give yourself some space and some grace.
I
Be
love
kind to
that.
yourself.
I love that. Give yourself some space and some grace. That's a good one, Jules.
Oh, thanks.
So if folks wanted to write in,
Mm-hmm.
how can they find us?
Oh, you should email us at
Yes.
highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com. And you could even message us on Instagram or on TikTok, and we will respond. And you can see we're got some stuff up there you can comment on.
Yes. Feel free.
But yeah, and let us know what you want to talk about or what you think about what we talked about. You can also, if you're listening to this in Spotify, you can comment below about what you thought about the episode. And once this is up on the YouTubes, you can leave comments there too. We'd
Yeah,
love to hear from you guys.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I think until next time, Julie, everybody is magic.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.